here's the cool thing. If you were a private money lender on this deal and you said, hey, Landon, cash to the seller, cash to the agent, closing costs, transaction coordination fee, and the renovation and furnishing costs, I will bring that to the table. You could be making $400 a month on just this piece of property, and you would have learned side by side with Landon and be able to participate in that. Landon ends up paying you off after a year or two. You roll that into your next deal, et cetera. If you're somebody that's like, I'm having a hard time getting started, get started as a lender. Hey guys, cheers. We are in Montana today. Cheers, brother.
Dude.
I've got Landon Moore to my left, amazing leader in our community. He runs something called the Closers Cafe. Him and his partners, amazing people. And this year I just found out that he's done 20 plus, almost 30 deals with Creative Finance this year alone. And we want to get into that today. We want to get into why are we sitting in this little nook? You think we're in a cafe? No, we're in a house that was built in 1901 in Kalispell, Montana. And we're going to break down the SubTo deal that Landon Moore got. But before we get there, we're going to talk about his backstory and what he knew and where he came from so that you can also identify and understand that Landon didn't just one day wake up and go, I know creative finance and I'm doing all these deals. There was a journey, just like there will be a journey for you. So Landon Moore, welcome to Kalispell, Montana. This is like now a third home of yours, I guess.
It is. It's amazing, man. This is
coolest.
so magical here.
You're doing a decent amount of deals here. You know, I know you're working with Christopher Geddes as well.
Yep.
And you guys just did he did his first deal was a 100% seller finance deal. You guys are working on another 100% seller finance deal here in town, right?
Correct. Yep.
Why Kalispell, Montana?
Well, I mean, the tourism here is amazing. If you notice that the airport is adding on expansional terminals, which tells me from an Airbnb, which is what this house is, the tourism is going to go up. Great Glacier National Park is a huge national park. Just 4 years ago, they had 1 million visitors a year. Now they're at 4.5 million a year. And so in terms of Airbnb opportunities, it's the wild, wild west all over again up here. There are some regulations you have to overcome. Actually, surprisingly, more regulations than Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, which is wild. We had to do a fire safety inspection, environmental inspection on this house. Just
I've
crazy.
never done any of that on any of my
Dude,
Airbnbs.
crazy.
Wow.
In Phoenix, it's just you sign up, you get a permit, you're good to go.
But it's not like Vegas or Atlanta where it's just prohibited. You
Correct.
can do it here. You just have to do it the right way.
You have to do it the right way. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than whitefish. Whitefish is more.
So guys, this valley, I've been telling people this for 4 years since I decided I want to have a second home here and start investing in here. I felt like Kalispell was like the final frontier of the United States. Like if you want to make a mark, you want to leave your name on this valley, you have that opportunity here.
It's the truth. It's the truth, man.
Developing Airbnbs, RV parks, self-storage, it's
land deals. I mean, there's so many opportunities in every different vehicle and vessel of real estate. It's beautiful.
It's very cool. So Landon, where did you come from? How did you get here?
Born and raised in a small town in Oregon, super blue collar, played golf, grew up, I would say lower middle class. Father dug ditches and worked for a construction company. And in the summers, I would work with him to earn a little bit of money for the upcoming school season. And I remember every year, he would always tell me, Landon, you want to grow up and be the guy in the white hard hat. That's your overall goal. And I go, who's that guy, Dad? And he goes, that's the guy telling me where to dig. And so for him, that was his theoretical ceiling of what was possible, what life's capabilities were really attainable.
When people say that everything's about mindset, that is specifically what they're talking about.
1,000%.
Your dad didn't know what he didn't know.
Yep.
And just his circle of influence was the guy in the white hat is the person to aspire to become.
Exactly.
So he told you that growing up?
Yeah, he told me that growing up, 14, 15, 16 years old. And so I set out not only for our family's legacy, but also just to change the path of our last name a little bit, of like being the first to go to college, being in our family, be all these little things and achieving what my dad's ceiling was, or try to surpass it, right? And went off to Oregon State University, did well in high school, went off to Oregon State University, and fast forward to graduating from there, I am the guy in the white hard hat, achieving my dad's ceiling. However, that left me unfulfilled. Like I achieved my dad's dreams and goals and whatnot, but I didn't fulfill mine. And so that left me a void, which led into what else is out there is possible.
Guys, if you have ever felt that way in your own life, please make a comment down below. Let Landon know that you've been there, or you currently are there. That's why these stories are so important, is for you to understand the come up story is a requirement. There will be a come up moment for you where you go, I deserve to have more, be more, and do more. And you have to figure out what that is for you. So what was the moment where you're like, this white hat thing's not going to work out, and what did you select?
Yeah. So again, an engineering degree, right? A great professional student, I say. Great salary coming out, right? And my wife, my beautiful wife, is a labor and delivery nurse. Also an amazing career.
You guys
right?
like achieved those two jobs.
Right.
I would say anybody in the world would say you achieved everything in life.
I agree. But it left us with a void in that no matter how hard we worked, no matter what we attempted to achieve, we were restricted by not only our salaries, but also fulfillment and freedom and time. Time together. We were working for someone else, doing things for other people. And so for us, it was, what is our vehicle to allow for a different life and more opportunities for us and our family to be able to spend more time together, travel together, and live a more prosperous life.
And as a leader of your family, I know the dynamic of your relationship. Your wife is an amazing human.
Yeah.
You're the leader. So what was that thing that you picked?
I racked my brain on like, what can I do? Do I have a desire of opening up my own engineering firm and becoming a business owner and doing those things? And I realized I don't want to achieve that because it's just getting one little letter past a signature on an email every single day. Every year you have to achieve and get and grow and all those things. And I didn't desire to do that. As well as I'm not going to invent anything in terms of a product as an engineering side of things. It's just not my desire. I'm not a patent guy. And so for me, growing up super blue collar, super redneck in a sense of small town Oregon.
Yeah, and you're digging ditches in your summer. Like
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I, and so for me, family has never owned a home, but I knew that blue collar approach was my way to figure out something. And so that was the path I chose, and I stuck through it, read every book through Bigger Pockets, through various podcasts on Spotify, through YouTube, through a lot of your content, Brent Daniels' content, and just consumed content and learned and changed out my friend group, changed out who was speaking in my ear at all times.
Was that, that's a hard thing for a lot of people. You and I think, are so motivated that's not hard for us, but I think I watch other people that come to me and go, but how? Like, am I not going to hurt these people's feelings? I'm like, are you really caring about these people's feelings if they're not helping you achieve your goals?
It is hard to separate that, and especially at the age I was too, like in my
early 20s,
like just coming out of college, out of high school, still trying to figure out who I am, let alone, and trying to maintain those relationships.
Right.
And now I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona from Oregon, so I'm in a completely new world, still trying to get friendships. So grasping onto any friendships I can, not realizing the true positive or negative impact that it could have on me financially, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically.
What's interesting is like your father said, go be the white hat person. And he was your circle of influence for a long time. Yeah. And you ultimately became that. So obviously you are aware of the fact that your surroundings, the words that are coming into your brain are what is creating the dominoes of your life. And you're like, I got to switch this out. Who I'm listening to, who I'm around, what we're up to on a daily basis. Like even what's possible. Here we are on what is it today, Monday?
Yeah.
It's Monday morning. We're in Kalispell, Montana, and we get to spend this time hanging out with other people. We're here with Jordan Reyes, Kevin Cho, Marco, Christopher, Eric Ballman, and we get to go spend a whole entire day together. Anthony Fleming as well.
Yep.
Get to go spend a whole day together looking at properties. That's something that 15 years ago I never thought was going to be possible.
Same. 100% agree with you. I mean, not just, what is it? It's up to October, so 10 months ago.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even thought it was possible.
Is that crazy?
It's
dude?
crazy.
In 10 months, your entire life can change. So what were some of the things that changed?
Yeah, it came down to discipline, honestly. Like, it's just changing out those habits that you currently have in your life. In my life, I had, and replacing them with things that are going to help me achieve my 3, 5, 10-year goals, whatever that is. And now, to say, looking back 5 years, did I achieve those goals? No, it changed. My arrow moved. My cardinal direction moved.
I always say the viewpoint changes the further you climb up the hill.
100% agree.
That's it. You see things different. You see things off in the distance you didn't even know, the shiny thing,
exactly.
The way the sun hits the lake, and you just don't see the things unless you get higher up. So you get higher up and everything has to change.
Everything has to change. And with that, my habits have changed. My routines have changed. I've been much more intentional with my time. My routine every day is nearly identical every day, no matter what, whether it's a Monday, Saturday, or Sunday, because I know that discipline every day and those habits I'm putting in, whether they return immediately or not, have gotten me to where I'm at and getting me to where I'm going to go.
Yeah, you got to water the tree every day. You can't water it once a week.
Every single day.
Every
single day.
People are like, but I watered the tree for 2 weeks straight. It's like, okay, when was that? Oh, that was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Dude, no wonder your fruit is not producing. Your tree is dead.
Yeah.
Like you have to water the tree, give it sunlight every single day. So
Yep.
You start doing creative finance deals in January.
Yeah. Well, just joined SubTo, the SubTo community in January. Did
Yeah.
not start doing deals then. And really how I got into that was realizing I was running out of bandwidth in my own real estate investments because I was purchasing everything traditionally, right? 10, 20% down payments on these homes. Still at the time, amazing interest rates.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't even know what an interest rate was. So
You're just like, I'm going to buy a house.
is a 3.25 good? I don't know, but I'm going to buy a house because I know this will get me,
If you had a crystal ball, you'd be like, bro, buy 10 more of these. But
100%.
still, then where would the money have come from?
Right, 100%. I didn't have a network. I didn't have a community of where the money would be. My father didn't have the money to do it, right? I had a network in my Rolodex of phones that I could call, but what am I pitching? What security do they have in me at that time from a credibility standpoint?
Well, the other thing is too is like in the community, you could probably raise $1 million in a week.
Yeah.
Like easy, right?
Yeah.
So you have not just deal flow, you also have the ability to be a leader to thousands of people.
Yeah.
But you also have the ability to raise capital and put deals together that, I mean, look what you and Christopher have done.
It's beautiful.
Right? Like you guys have formed what I think is the beginning of a potential partnership.
Agreed.
Right? You guys are JVing on stuff right now. JVing, guys, difference between joint venture and partnerships. JVing is like we're dating and we're doing some deals together, helping each other out, and we're figuring it out, and maybe one day becomes an actual partnership.
Agreed.
I think that there's a really good balance between your two personalities.
I agree.
And you don't find these people unless they've been filtered out and they have a like-minded goal of, I want to go acquire real estate.
Well, you said it best. Let the work be the filter. It
Right.
led us to us meeting each other.
Right.
It led him to come to my Zoom, Closers Cafe, consistently. He showed me the discipline. He showed me he shows up every single day and puts in the work. And that's someone I want to be around at all times.
And he's not sitting there going, hey, Landon, how can I get your attention?
Exactly.
He's just showing up.
He's showing up and taking action and failing forward every single day.
Right.
And I'm realizing like I want to be around people like that. They don't have to be perfect. They're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes every day.
Every day.
There's so many mistakes in this little thing that I did. But we're still here. We're still moving forward on, so I know it's a beautiful thing. He's an amazing person. And I look forward to the opportunities we have in front of us right now.
Well, what's cool is like here we are doing, something for YouTube and highlighting this deal, which we'll get into the breakdown of this deal. And I hear these guys in the background laughing in the backyard.
Yeah.
Some of them met each other today. Mm-hmm. We're all part of the same community, all have the same goal.
Yeah.
And they're at a property you bought creative finance that you, your father, your brother worked on, and they're in the backyard having a good time.
Having a good time. I woke up this morning. I walk out of the bedroom, and there's a random person sleeping on the couch that I had no idea who it was. Immediately he got up. We said hi. We said good morning. We began on our conversation like we were been friends for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man.
So cool. So you joined SubTo.
Yeah.
You very quickly became a leader in SubTo. You just stepped up, and you're like, hey, me and my partners, Brad, and the team, or your whole entire team was like, let's start doing something called Closers Cafe.
Yep.
And so you guys do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So guys, if you are in the SubTo community, you'll see these boys running the Closers Cafe. What do you do in the Closers Cafe for the people that don't know?
Yeah, 100%. Would love to have you guys. Every Tuesday and Thursday, it's raw lead generation and implementation over information. And so we're reaching out directly to agents and overcoming objections, pitching creative finance. Majority of it is subject to seller finance opportunities out there. And you guys get to see live raw lead generation. You get to see how to overcome objections, how to transition, how to basically sales. And we critique and support you too. And not only that, you as a student can make calls on there too, and we can help support you in that. And we can JV with you.
And that's the best part is like you get students that will go to Landon and go, hey, I've got a lead, I've got an opportunity, I want you to walk me through it. And he'll do the deal with you, walk 100%. You all the way through the process.
100%.
So if you're in the community, join Tuesdays and Thursdays with the boys in the Closers Cafe. So this deal, let's talk about where did this deal come from?
Yeah,
how did you find it?
On market, completely on market.
What was the filter?
On Zillow, it was...
Was it like 100 days on market?
No.
Or did you just say, okay, on market deal, I'm going to call every on market deal?
No, it was actually, funny enough, the first property I called in the Valley.
Really?
Yeah.
You're joking me.
Yeah. I don't know why it worked out that way.
Is that the expectation everybody should have?
Zero expectations everybody should have. It was the first one, I got away with it. But now I've called 100 here, and nothing else has came to fruition. So it's just...
Luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just...
So you called the agent.
Yep.
Agent, what was going on with the seller that the seller decided to sell to you on SubTo?
Yep, VA loan. And so he purchased 2 years ago at the peak of the market, right? Paid top dollar for the house and had an unfortunate circumstance happen with his wife just 6 months ago or whatever it may be that forced them to make a family decision to move out and don't want anything to do with the house whatsoever. And so they made the decision to sell, but they were upside down in that there was zero equity in the deal.
What was the interest rate?
2.5%. Yeah.
He's got, so the house we're sitting in right now has a 2.5% interest rate on it that you just took over SubTo.
Correct.
Okay, seller. So this is a common question that comes up, guys, of why would the seller just want to get rid of the house? Well, one, they don't have equity. Two, actually, it should be number one. Number one is that sellers are not investors, right?
100%.
This guy didn't have the motivation to do what you did here.
No, and he's moving out of state. He's not wanting to be a cross-country landlord to a property that requires snow service, that requires all this little maintenance and these things that he doesn't know the resources you have to put in place to make it successful and not a headache.
Right.
Especially the headache he's dealing with in his own house and his own family he's got going on. He moved to Arizona, so he's down there right now, living out of his trailer. So like, yeah, interesting. Everyone has their own little interesting motivations and factors and situations that motivate them to, make those decisions.
When you're doing a deal, I know the answer to this based on my own experience. You'll know the answer to this, but I want the audience, they have to hear this. Is every seller that you call, are you closing them because you're a wonderful closer and you're just the best, you drop one-liners and you negotiate incredibly well, or are you really focusing on motivation and what's going on in their life?
You have to focus on motivation and pain.
No matter how good a salesperson you are,
and also focus on serving them too.
Right.
And what solution is that for them? It may not be SubTo. It may not be seller finance or creative finance. Maybe it's a cash offer that needs to get them quick and move and done, and they want to get done with it, depending on the situation. But it all starts with what is the motivation and pain, And so that's what I'm searching for. And with on market deals, there's two levels of pain. There's potentially what the agent's pain they're dealing with to get past that gatekeepership. In terms of if you're operating, like we just did a deal up in Vancouver, Washington, where the agent was in between a divorce, operating as therapist. So I dug into that pain. It's like, oh my gosh, like you're playing therapist. I'd love to help you get this out from underneath you.
That's like music to their ears.
Music to their ears. Like, hey, I'm going to support you. Like, I'll do all the heavy lifting. I'll write up the contract. I'll handle my transaction coordinator will handle escrow and everything. Like, just let's get all three of us.
How important is the top tier? Or how important is a transaction coordinator?
It's integral.
Like it's impossible.
Irreplaceable.
I would never do a deal without one.
Yeah, 100%. Here's what I've been able to realize without doing a transaction, with a transaction coordinator, is a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. Because it takes up so much time and effort. Those are amazing people that you have an amazing team. I have an amazing team in what we do and how we accomplish these. And without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing and continue to find deals for you and find deals for me.
You'd get burned out. It's not what you were meant to do. It's like, who,
not how. Yeah.
It's who, not how.
Yep.
Okay. So you reach out to the agent.
Yep.
Do you remember the first conversation you had with the agent?
Yep. First conversation. I live in a place where I can talk. Okay. I can establish and build rapport for days. And so for me, I'm just chopping it up with her, having an amazing conversation. She at first, when I reached out to her, thought I was selling her something. Mm. And so I got to disarm her by not being a car salesy guy. It was just building a relationship with her, having a conversation, one human to another human. And that's all it is. That's a lot of the fear that a lot of these people have, is that they think that these agents are on these high pedestals and these sellers, all these different things, when reality is like that agent has a job and they're hired from their sellers their clients to sell a house.
And they're trying to get paid.
And so...
And they don't get paid unless the deal gets done.
That's it. I mean, I can go into stories so many times that sellers or agents bring up, oh, they're just going to rent it. And I'm like, do you realize that you don't get paid?
Yeah, what does that do to you?
Just so you know, not that that's number one goal, but that is a part of this whole equation here, just to be clear, So we built rapport.
Is the agent on this deal the same agent that found the deal for the deal that you sold me?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to point this out, guys. This is where building relationships are important, because Landon, first call to the Valley, calls this agent. Her name's Chelsea. You'll probably end up seeing her on another video. She's very loyal to Landon, so don't be trying to take her. And Landon then finds another deal through Chelsea here in the Valley that we're actually going to go visit today. I bought that deal.
Yep.
You assigned a SubTo deal to me.
Correct.
And
it's a hybrid deal. It has some seller finance in it too. Right.
That one, actually, a considerable amount. Like the seller has how much?
$300K.
$300,000 in equity. What's the interest rate on that?
2.5.
2.5% on $300,000 seller finance note, which is amazing. We'll talk about that deal in another video. Yeah. Oh. Maybe link it down in the description. We're going to go there here next. But so you reach out to Chelsea, you build a relationship. You've obviously now done multiple deals with her. You'll probably do another 50 deals with her. She's on Team Landon.
Team Landon.
Basically.
Like, good luck calling her.
Yeah.
But going back to that conversation, right? Build rapport, have an amazing conversation, talk about the situation here. Now I'm transitioning the conversation into the sellers. What's the situation here? Trying to pick up little bunnies, little things that come up that could indicate financial stress, divorce, foreclosure, something going on in their life that is forcing them to sell such a beautiful house. What's forcing them to get out?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest difference between most real estate investors and the ones that I would consider successful, like yourself, which is I'm not calling people and just offering a number.
Absolutely not.
That's what most people are doing. They're like, submit 10 offers a day. And I'm like, how about build 10 relationships a day?
Well, look at that. It's like by me taking that time, that 45-minute call has now turned into 2 deals, one that I've sold you. And I can go on more on that deal of how that relationship I built with this property allowed me the opportunity to sell you that deal, where when I spoke to the seller for your deal, I didn't have to overcome a single objection. The agent did it for me.
Because she was on Team Landon.
She's on Team Landon. She knows I can operate, I can execute, I can perform, and so she's breaking down all those barriers.
You essentially, the greatest employee that you'll have, and I don't mean to call them employees, but think about it this way. The greatest employee you'll have in real estate are real estate agents that are out there working on your behalf that only get paid when they get a deal closed.
Yeah.
And so Chelsea will get, she'll probably do 5 to 15 deals a year with you.
Yeah.
And she's not an employee, she's a team member.
Team member.
But when you're building a team, that is a team.
Yep.
She's on your freaking team.
Yep. Yeah, she's great.
So you find the seller's motivation here was lack of equity.
Yep.
He didn't want to deal with the house because most sellers
Wife fell down the stairs.
Oh, wow.
So had a traumatizing event, doesn't want to come back here, doesn't want anything to do with the house. And it was starting to fall apart because of her fall.
Right.
And so house was, getting dirty and dingy and all these things.
And he's like, I just want to get my RV and leave.
Winter's coming.
Yeah.
Right here. This is real. Where winter snow is going to be on the ground. It's going to be 0 degrees.
Yeah.
There were a lot of motivating factors. Yeah.
Okay. So Chelsea at the time didn't know creative finance.
Absolutely not. That's what's beautiful about a lot of these smaller markets too. Whereas like a Phoenix, Arizona and all these things, the majority of the agents, they immediately know what you're going into with on-market deals. Up in rural parts of America, in the Northwest that I primarily work in, I'm educating these sellers on it. And what's beautiful about that is I get to be the expert in the room, get on the same side of the table with them and help them do it properly and execute it properly. Because then what happens is that I'm the trusted resource for them when they start to receive other offers from other people. They literally will send me screenshots of other people's offers and go, what's this about?
Yeah.
And I can, scorch it.
Yeah, you can scorch it, but the greatest part of that is that you have options that other people just are not pitching.
Exactly.
It's
tool in the tool belt.
You feel like Superman walking into these appointments and being on a phone call going, I know I'm the solution to your problem.
100%.
Not, hey, I'm competing against 10 other wholesalers that are in some wholesale program that all they're doing is lowball cash offers.
One-trick ponies.
I can give you full retail here and still win. Creative finance is the only strategy. Agent wins, seller wins, buyer wins.
Correct.
Everybody else, it's like, okay, if the buyer wins in a cash offer, guess who loses? Seller.
Someone, yeah.
Seller, the cash has to come from somewhere, and they have to take that pound of flesh
100%.
out. So,
100%.
Seller, when the seller first heard that creative finance was the route that you were going to pitch.
Yeah, so that first phone call with the agent, the gatekeeper, I say, led into a three-way call with the seller of the property. We had a 45-minute phone call kind of just going over some of the objections, some of the various things that typically come up.
What happens if you don't make my payment?
Yep, due on sale clause, 100%.
Wait, is this legal? How are you going to do the paperwork? I don't understand this.
100%.
How are you going to make the payments to my bank? Okay, what about my insurance? All of those things.
Yep, 100%. And not only through my trainings and understanding how that, having done it before, the competence, but what really sold it for him, and I'll go into it deeper, is the confidence on that phone call.
Right.
I'm a trusted source because I can speak definitively on what I'm saying.
Right.
But funny enough, after that phone call, he tells me he's sitting in a rental car in Phoenix, Arizona, making this call. Him and I meet up in person at a pizza spot in Phoenix at Mellow Mushroom.
Yeah, great spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is, mind you, after I just got done playing a round of golf. I've had a couple high noons at this point.
Right.
And so we meet up and chop it up and have an amazing time, an amazing conversation about things, learn a little bit more about his situation, his life, and what's going on, and how I can be a resource, my goals, my plans. I'm showing him other properties that I own in the area and what I'm doing, and just establishing credibility through rapport building, you know? Yeah. And then from there he leaves, okay? Mind you, there are 3 other SubTo offers on this house. 2 SubTo students and 1 non, okay? My offer was the lowest amount of cash in his pocket.
But the highest amount of credibility and
Highest
rapport.
amount of credibility. I mean, there was an offer that was $15K more than my offer in his pocket, but he trusted me and what I was doing and how I overcame and solved one of the other bunnies.
And you also got Chelsea on the same page with you as well.
So I have that.
Chelsea's going, I want to do the deal with Landon.
100%.
Landon's got a TC.
If we're
Landon
going to
knows what
do
he's doing.
this, I want to do it with Landon.
I feel confident that he's going to perform.
Yep.
You know, and shout out to Chelsea for that too, because a lot of agents will, you know, not have that conversation with the seller and say, look,
Yep.
I've been down the road of people that don't perform before. We don't want to go down that road. Let's take the lower offer. He's actually going to perform. I can tell he's got the confidence. You meet with the seller, you become chums basically.
Yep.
And you get the deal done. So seller got how much money?
Well, hold on here. We're not done yet. So he comes back here, okay, after meeting up with me, and he goes, okay, I'm going to talk with my wife. We'll have a conversation. So now it's Monday or Tuesday or whenever he gets back, and they receive a conventional offer, 50% down. Conventional purchase, cashing them out from California. Someone wanting 50% down, they're going to do a conventional offer. Full list. And they still end up accepting my offer.
Boom.
Because of the trust and credibility I built and what I was doing.
Wow.
Because you're still going to get more money. Because if he sold it conventionally, he was going to be writing a check for $1,000. I gave him $15,000 in his pocket. I paid the agent her commission and all in closing costs. My total wire to buy the house was $27,118.
And what's the mortgage balance on the house?
$495.
So you basically put in 6% down, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6% down to get a 2.5% interest rate.
Yep. $2,200 mortgage.
Yep.
Versus if I went out and purchased it conventionally, putting 25% down, now I'm in the 120 to 140K down.
Oh my, disgusting.
At a 7.5 to 8.5% interest rate.
It wouldn't have
My
penciled.
mortgage payment would still be $2,800 to $2,900 a month. I wouldn't be able to cash flow long-term, short-term, anything.
Yeah.
Right?
You'd only be able to live in the house.
That's it. It's a homestead. That's all you could do. So this was the only avenue. And this is a question that the seller brought up is, why would you do this? Why would you want to buy the house this way? And I got to go through, like, if I purchased it this way, and got to explain the differences between the two, how it benefits me from all the different pillars, not only cash flow.
Which is a great thing to do, because it makes sense for the seller when they're like, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, and they trust you even higher.
Yeah.
When
being transparent, right?
Yeah, I had somebody, this is about 7 years ago, they said, why do you tell this seller what you're doing and how you're making money? I'm like, because it clicks.
100%.
They're like, oh my gosh. And then if you've built the rapport, they actually are happy they're helping you out.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And I mean, I love building those relationships, not only with just sellers, because those are the greatest referrals and references too. I can't tell you, like I'm in escrow for a property right now, and that came about because of an offer I sent out, listed out the last 4 properties that I've purchased. And on there was one in the same jurisdictional area that the agent called the agent on to ask about me. And just so happens that agent was the owner of the property and said Landon did an amazing job.
Guys, by the way, there's somebody watching this right now that's like, oh, well, yeah, Landon, that sounds so easy for you because you've done all these deals. Guys,
No.
10 months ago, he hadn't been doing creative deals.
0.
Okay, 0. So like, you can accomplish a lot in this business in 10 months. And the first couple of months was just you warming up and getting educated.
Networking. I remember 1 week early on when Chris John Baptiste was in town visiting you for something. We met up at your house. I remember this distinctly, okay? So it was for the first recording of chapter 1 of your book at your house.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. It's blast, okay? So in the room, and I'm paying attention. I'm very observant to who's in the room, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And I see Kevin there. Had never met Kevin at that point. I'd never met Chris at that point, but knew of them. And I remember after filming portion of the episode, we all go upstairs and we're eating lunch. And everyone was sitting at the table with you, listening to your stories, whatever. But Chris and Kevin were in the other room.
Because they've heard the stories.
They've heard the stories. And they're working on deals.
Yeah.
What do? I'm going and hanging with them.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm connecting with Chris. And I'm connecting with Kevin. The next 5 days in a row, Chris John Baptiste and I sat together at Lifetime Fitness in Arizona and called agents. And I learned how to overcome this, how to send off this. We did so many deals just sitting there, and I attest so much to all of that by his giving attitude to give and pour into me and support me.
That's really what what SubTo has always been about. And what's cool is watching you and that domino effect of Chris right?
Yeah.
Is watching Chris love on you. Chris got that from other people.
100%.
And now you're helping thousands of people inside of SubTo, which is amazing. And there's people that are like, I attribute my success to Landon.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, bro, it's the craziest thing, right?
It's
and
so
like,
fulfilling, man.
it's like when I was doing that book thing and I would go, I want to invite a live audience.
Yeah.
My team's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, just watch.
Just watch.
Just watch and see what happens when you put people in a room. It's the same reason why we do these meetups, which, we'll do a meetup tonight in Montana.
Yeah.
When people get in proximity of other people, things change.
Things change, man.
And now you also had the foresight to go, I'm going to go around the corner and I'm going to hang out with Chris. I'm going to befriend them.
Yeah, Pace is cool. Stories I want to hear. Haven't heard them yet. I'll hear them someday.
But obviously this community was created for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't to hear Pace's stories. It was here for all of us to connect and do deals together.
100%. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Right. I have now. Granted, I'm in a position where I'm married, have a kid. Like I have a why of what I want to accomplish and do, and how do I do that quickly is being around people who are actively doing deals. Right. And so that was a huge turning point.
Guys, just if you guys want Chris Jean-Baptiste's contact information, we'll put his IG down below. We'll put Landon's IG down below. Landon, if people, I want to talk about the deal for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. But if people wanted to do something with you, what are you looking for, whether they're in the SubTo community or outside the community? What can somebody come and bring to you?
Yeah, if you're in the SubTo community, please just join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Closers Cafe and let's work together. We've developed a pretty cool system there right now where I'm on the phones in that Zoom, and you get to watch my cadence and how to overcome objections and various things, as well as too, you'll get the opportunity to make your very first call. We've had someone in there, Bertha was her name. She made her very first call ever. She was so nervous and scared and ended up locking up that deal. It's insane.
Her first call ever.
First call. Setting the bar high,
Wow.
But and what's beautiful is like when they're picking those calls, like they're nervous, they're excited, they're overcoming some fear. We're in the chat guiding their conversation. Hey, let's insert this here, push this here, and it's beautiful. And the support we get to give. And then we're connecting with people.
Imagine, dude, like if I had that support on my first deal.
Same.
Man, I had some help, and it was I'm grateful for it. And it was like 7 years of me saying I'm going to get started, and it wasn't until somebody actually
that's what happened.
Helped me. But I didn't have that. I didn't have Landon. I didn't have Chris Jean-Baptiste. I didn't have that. So it's like, this is why the whole community and why you and your partners are doing so many deals is that it's this collective group of people all helping each other out.
Well, what's beautiful too is as much as they get, and it's an interesting way to look at it, but as much as value as they get out of those opportunities and being in there and having and listening and consuming those conversations and being able to do their own, I get double the fulfillment out of being able to provide that to them.
The emotional
because it's just,
income.
Oh my goodness, it's so fulfilling to be able to come out of there and just be fired up and energized, knowing that they're going to go out. Everyone mentions in there, I'm going to go out and make 5 calls today.
Yeah.
And then we've developed it so much so, and this is one of the things that I'd love for you guys to do, is we developed a JV submission form website called sub2closers.com that you can JV with me. I can help you close your deals. I can help you dispo your deals and work with you on how to perfect and get better every single time, whether it's on market, off market, whatever it may be, and support you and achieve your dreams and goals. Yeah.
Are you raising capital?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely would love to meet. If you have some money and you're interested in parking in some real estate and owning awesome Airbnb properties like this or some sober living stuff, I know you're doing some RV park stuff. I'm going to get in on that sometime. I would love to chat with you as well.
Let's just own the whole Kalispell Valley, bro.
I'm in.
Let's just do it.
Dude, I am so in on that.
Yeah, you drive
I want to own
here,
every one of them.
And you're like, why do they have so much self-storage here? Do you notice that when you drive around here? It's like, what the freak is up with this place?
People stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of hoarders up here in Montana.
100%.
Okay, so your seller gets 15 grand on the deal.
Yep.
Agent gets paid her commission.
Correct.
She's stoked. Everybody's winning. What are you doing with the property? How are you going to make money on it?
Yep, 100%. My intention originally with the property immediately, all in, I was wanting to own a short-term rental vacation home in this area. I love the area. I have family that live in the area, which definitely helps. But living in Arizona 3 months out of every year is 120 degrees.
Right.
And so for me, some of my family's legacy and goals is to have a place that we can travel to, whether it's driving and whether it's flying to. We can get away for 2 weeks a year and stay at our own place.
Yeah.
That also, while we're not there, is earning money back into our pocket. Because we've generated a model in the short-term rental space that we're hyper successful in that with our automations and our team and everything that we're doing. And so this is a vehicle that we're riding on right now. And I have a few other places that I want to get short-term rentals to be able to continue to do that. Just pick up a Sprinter van and just go house to house.
Okay, so this deal
Yeah.
is going to produce how much in gross revenue this year?
Year one,
Yeah.
I think we're going to do 85 to 87K $85,000 to $87,000 in gross revenue.
Okay. And you will net, like take home, how much will you make out
I
of
think
that?
net 45 to 50K.
On one deal.
One deal. And that covers our entire entry fee into the deal. Entry fee meaning cash to the seller, agent commissions, closing costs, transaction coordination, furnishings, renovations. Yeah.
You, your dad, and your brother did a lot of the
Oh
work.
my gosh. That's, again, it comes back to like these moments, these memories, these snapshots I have of various things. I have tons of childhood ones, much like I'm sure you do. But like there was a moment when we came up here, we closed on this on August 18th and I flew up here that day. We signed the closing papers at the title company. And started from then every single day for 10 days. We had to push our flights back every day, every morning at 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. with my dad and my brother-in-law, putting in the sweat equity to do it, to get this thing furnished. We had all of the items shipped and it was sitting here when we got here, but then things don't show up. And then this happens. And then we install a shower and the valve doesn't fit. So we have to cut the hole in the back and all those little things hop up and just the memories I have with my dad of going through that. But then him also realizing like, I'm getting old. He was getting tired, man. And it was cool memories that I can't wait to bring him back up here on a pure vacation, non-work basis and show him Glacier. Take him fly fishing.
You haven't even been up to Glacier.
No.
It's epic.
I just come up here to work.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Epic.
Every time I've came up here, it's been work.
Man, that's a good point you bring up. A lot of people think that it's all about just making money. I think it's just about overcoming problems with people you enjoy being around.
That's it, man.
And you get to collect these amazing memories with your father. And, your father is relatively young. He's got a good amount of time ahead of him still.
Yeah.
But in 40 years, when your dad's not around, 30 years when your dad's not around, you'll look at these memories of like, I remember when my dad believed in my goals and my dreams so much that your dad now has also caught the bug.
He is.
He's like, how do I go rent some RVs on Turo?
100%. He's seeing it. And that's leading by example. And then him now seeing where he wishes he would have, gotten into this game in one way or another. But now he wants to buy a Sprinter van that you can camp in. And he goes and then have someone else pay the payment. And it's so beautiful to just hear those words and like, Dad, I know, man. I want to help you achieve that for you.
The guy that was saying, Landon, you need to be the guy that tells people where to dig the ditch to now coming here, helping you on a property you bought with Creative Finance, and he sees what you've accomplished, and he sees your momentum, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he just wants to be a part of whatever his son's got going on.
100%, man. And I want him a part of that too, and a part of my daughter's world and life, and he loves her to pieces, and I want him to be healthy and a part of that for years and years to come, because he's so impactful in me and my identity and also my life, and every day, I think about him. And so, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's so fulfilling.
Amazing.
So cool.
Amazing. Guys, Landon Moore. You guys can find him on Instagram, Landon Moore
_OR.
OR. Isn't
Just
it ORE?
Just OR.
Just OR for Oregon.
That's right.
You got to switch it to AZ, dog. Or you can always keep it Oregon. You get the Oregon in you.
I do.
All right. Well, Landon Moore _OR.
Have you been to Bend, Oregon?
I have. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
It's not as cool as Glacier. Like, it's not as cool as this area. It's a different vibe.
It used to be. Yeah, it's a different vibe. Now it's...
The only time I've been yelled at a gas station was in Bend, Oregon.
For pumping your own gas.
For pumping my own gas at 2 o'clock in the morning. What the hell are you doing?
Come running out.
I was like, what? And I'd never been to Oregon before.
Yeah.
And so Oregon's special, but it's just, Montana just has a different vibe as well. So it's nice that you can kind of bounce between Oregon, Arizona, which is where you now live, and Montana on vacation, and you got to get the best of all the worlds.
That's the whole goal. I've been manifesting that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need the glitz, the glam, the Rolls Royce. That's not my dream, not my goal. Like, for me, freedom, spending time, showing my daughter showing my daughter Bend, where I'm from, showing my daughter Arizona.
The smell of the crisp air.
The water. Like, you go to Arizona and drink our water, and it's milk. It's 2% milk.
Yeah.
Versus here, this is
glacier water.
Water.
It's milky. I always told, when I grew up, I was like, why is the water here milky?
Yeah, we used to drink out of the hose in Oregon.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Arizona.
No, you cannot. Well, you can.
Scorpions come out of the hose.
Yeah, legit, actually.
I know.
So, guys, follow Landon over on Instagram. Reach out to him. If you guys are a private money lender, here's the cool thing. If you were a private money lender on this deal, and you said, hey, Landon, that cash to the seller, cash to the agent, closing costs, transaction coordination fee, and the renovation and furnishing costs, I will bring that to the table. You could be making $400 a month on just this piece of property, and you would have learned side by side with Landon and be able to participate in that. Landon ends up paying you off after a year or two. You roll that into your next deal, etc. if you're somebody that's like, I'm having a hard time getting started, get started as a lender.
Yeah.
Get started as putting your money in some of the SubTo community's deals, and you can reach out to Landon on his Instagram. Do you want to give them your email or anything?
Yeah, definitely. You can hit me up on my email, palmhomesaz@gmail.com. Palm, P-A-L-M, homesaz@gmail.com.
So guys, it'll be down in the link down below as well. So editors, don't forget that, please. We did this deal with the guy out of Slidell, and I spent a whole like 6 hours with this guy. My team never puts his Instagram, his name.
Oh no.
Every day I get a DM. People are like, hey, I just watched the RV park thing and your team didn't put the thing. Can you please connect me? And I'm connecting with them directly. Guys, put the information down in the description down below. And we'll do a lot more videos with Landon. Actually, we're going to leave right now. We're going to go to another SubTo deal that Landon locked up, sold to me, and we're going to go hear the story about that amazing thing. And there's a $70,000 mistake that was made on that property. $1 million lesson, but a $70,000 mistake. Yeah. And we'll go over there. See you guys in the next video.